Yeah, awful start for the Jaguars. You know, they ended last year losing their last 5 games, missing out on the playoffs. This was after a year they were supposed to be one of the favorites, right? Remember 2 years ago, they won a playoff game, lost a close game to Kansas City in the divisional round. Now they look like this guy's about to get chopped. Here's Peterson. Things need to change fast in Jacksonville.
It's not for lack of effort or trying and all of that. I just think that sometimes you just have to get out of your own way, right? And we just keep digging ourselves in a hole early and can't seem to dig our way out of it, especially, as one-sided as this game was today.
You think he's in trouble in Jacksonville, or is he going to get away with this?
Well, the thing is that owner, he wants he wants to win badly. He's got a very itchy finger, but he also knows he can't keep changing coaches. Remember, it was such a disaster he had with Urban Meyer that having Peterson, who's won a Super Bowl in his building, is probably not someone that he wants to chase out fairly quickly. Now, I understand last year ended poorly and this year has started poorly. If it continues, sure. Because he spent a lot of money, right, Scotty? This is not they added some high-priced free agent talent on both sides of the ball. They've done that the last few years. They gave their quarterback a lot of money that he probably hadn't earned yet.
And he stinks.
And he stinks, too. I'm sorry. And we were all duped, right? We thought this was no doubt about it. When he left Clemson, he was going to be the next big star in the NFL. Can't miss, Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, that type of can't miss player. It's just not the case. He's 0-8 in his last 8 starts. 1-7 against the spread, too, so you can't even bet on the guy. But he's lost 8 starts in a row. We talked about in the offseason when they gave him all that money that they probably, I don't know why they were in such a rush to pay him so fast. But I just haven't seen it yet, Sky. I haven't seen the greatness of this guy. Where is it?
Yeah, I mean, his numbers stink. He's 21 of 38, 178 yards, a horrible average, 4.7. He gets picked off. He gets sacked. His passes are bad. It's unbelievable. He's turned into a lousy quarterback. That's just all there is to it.
The pick he threw to Hamlin last night, and that was DeMar Hamlin's first ever career interception. That happened in that game, too. There was nobody near him, Scotty. I mean, Lawrence, it's not like he was being pressured and he was in a rush to throw the ball away. He was standing in a clean pocket and just sailed the ball over the receiver's head to Hamlin. It was an awful throw. And they got a lot of work to do down there, that's for sure, especially with him.
Imagine the money they spent on him. They gave him all this money, and he's not worth it. He plays like a backup. He's not a star player. It was a kind of flash in the pan. He was good for a brief minute or two, and then he's been terrible ever since. I mean, he is awful right now. He can't win. He can't get out of his own way. Like Peterson said, I think a lot of it starts with him. I mean, he's so undependable now as their quarterback. You have to start wondering what they're going to do. Are they going to keep rolling him out there to lose?
5 years, $275 million. I wanted to make sure I had
Oh, my God.
the deal that they gave him in the offseason. They go to Houston next week too, Scotty. So division game on the road with Houston coming off getting beat up by the Vikings in Minnesota. That's not a good scene for them coming up. Not a good scene that they're going to have.
Doom. They're going to go lose to them. Another loss.
Doom. Indeed it does. So God bless and good luck to the Jaguars. All right, let's start to turn the page towards this week. It moves fast. We're on to week 4 in the NFL. Let's go, and it will start on Thursday night. Back at MetLife. We were at MetLife last Thursday night to start week 3 for the Jets and the Patriots. Well, MetLife will again have a Thursday night game, this time with the Giants and the Cowboys getting together. And the Giants are coming off their first win of the season in Cleveland. Dallas losing 2 in a row at home, not looking good in either. I told you yesterday, Dable was talking up Daniel Jones. There's only one reason Daniel Jones has been better this year and has started throwing touchdown passes. It's because of Malik Neighbors. And here's Dable talking up Neighbors instead of Jones.
I have a lot of confidence in him, so I think we target him a fair amount. But I think he's earned that. He's earned the right to have those opportunities. And look, one game, I don't know what he's had, 30 the past 2 weeks, I think. But
30 targets.
There'll be adjustments throughout a game where things are happening, and everybody's going to have to be dialed in. But his mindset, he's a competitive young man that he's just a football player.
Just give him the ball. He's their only player. He's the stud of the team. Throw him the ball. Good things happen. He catches tutties. And he's making Jones look good again. And he's shown those flashes that he can do it if he has the right talent around him. This guy can make plays. And they've looked a lot better. Even when they lost, they had 3 tutties. Then they win with 3 tutties. You start scoring touchdowns, you win games, and he's the reason they're winning. They finally got one at least. And, you get that off your back, and anything's possible. This game is huge because I think most people think that the Cowboys are better than they are, but I'm not so sure. The Cowboys seem overrated. I mean, they keep losing too. So it's not like, you saw what happened to them. They got blown out in one game at home. And they haven't done that in, ages in regular season games. Playoff games, they got blown out. But you're seeing, teams like this Dallas team overrated. And I think the Giants are kind of on par with them, to be honest. I think they're in the same boat. Both of them are the same.
Both of them are the same so far. Now, look, last year, the Cowboys kind of, they played bully with the Giants last year. They beat them, of course, 40-0. In the opening week game. They beat them 49-17 the second time that they played them last year. So they scored 89 points on them in 2 games. Giants obviously have to find a way to stop the Cowboy offense, which they have not been able to do the last couple of years. I did hear Jerry this morning. You know how Jerry's, because he never can stay away from anyone. He does that local radio spot on Tuesday morning, Scotty.
Right.
He said it's fair for the Cowboy fans to blame him for the team's shortcomings. Well, I hope so, because you're not just the owner. You're the general manager, too. Remember that? Like, he's the GM, too. So, yes, he is to blame for some of their shortcomings.
He's the only one that matters. He's the only one that talks.
That's it.
He's the only one that does press conferences. I guess you see Dak a little bit, but it's Jerry's world, and that's why they call it Jerry's world. And the bottom line is they stink. They're no better than the Giants, and they blame him anyway because he's front and center. No one else talks.
No one else talks. 5.5 is where we're sitting right now for Thursday Night Football at MetLife. 45.5 is the total. I got to tell you, I think it sounds like you're leaning this way too. I think the Giants at home on a short week. I know the Cowboys, they haven't been able to stop them the last couple of years. I think they might hang around in this game, Scotty. I think the Giants might make this a game on Thursday.
Why are they favored by that much? Explain that to me, the way they've looked.
I think because this comes down to you take the rosters, and Dallas is so much better, and they have the better quarterback, and they crushed them both games last year. I think that, you put all those ingredients in the pot, and that's why they're 5.5-point favorites. But they didn't see Neighbors last year. They got to find a way to stop. They can get a couple stops. That's what will keep them in this game because they couldn't stop them last year.
So what's the deal, Mike? Does Purdy have a back problem all of a sudden? What's going on out there?
They've got lots of problems out there, right? I feel like every week now they're just stacking more ailments on the pile for the San Francisco 49ers. I knew you were going to say that. What a shame. We already know about some of their skill position players, but now their quarterback, Brock Purdy, day-to-day with back soreness. I'm not sure when he got that because I thought he looked pretty good on Sunday. He sure wasn't the reason why they lost that game to the Rams. But back soreness for Purdy, and to keep this going, defensive tackle Javon Hargrave, one of their better interior defenders, partially torn tricep. He's done for the regular season. And this doesn't sound very good either, department for Christian McCaffrey, he's going to see a specialist in Germany. That's right, Germany. He's going to Europe to see a specialist for his Achilles tendonitis. Now, again, what happened here, Scotty? He got this injury in training camp in early August. Everyone said he was fine. He was going to play the first game. Magically, an hour before the game, he was out, and he didn't play. And now he's flying to Germany to see a specialist for it 3 weeks later. This sounds like a guy who we're not going to see a lot of this year. That's what it sounds like to me.
I mean, originally I thought it was his calf, and now it's like his Achilles, and he's going to Germany to get it fixed. I don't understand. It has to be worse than everybody thought it was originally. I never thought it was this bad, and I can't wait to see what happens. I don't understand who he's going to see. I don't know the whole deal, but it doesn't sound like he's playing football anytime soon with this problem. And you're losing a guy like Hargrave. Now your quarterback's got to tweak back. It's one thing after the next with this team, and injuries will kill any football team. I don't care how good you are. Everyone thinks they're automatic to go, to the Super Bowl every year, and the reality is you can't do it if you have a bunch of guys banged up. You got to stay, relatively healthy to get through the playoffs. Sometimes teams go the furthest just because they have health and they're not all banged up with injuries. They have too many early season injuries for my blood. It's a problem. Their star players are all dropping like flies.
Yep, and they've gotten out to now a 1-2 start after a couple of losses on the road. Now they do go home this week, and they have the Patriots coming across country. So we know the deal with the Pats. They won the first week, lost in overtime, and then got smashed by the Jets on Thursday night. They take the long trip to San Francisco. Now, -10, and I'm going to give you some numbers. Big spreads have they've been good for the teams getting, let's just put it that way, Scotty, through the first 3 weeks of the season. 39.5 is the total. They, even with all these ailments, can they cover this 10 points against the Patriots on Sunday?
Well, I mean, think of the Rams game, right? They literally were up, by 14 in the fourth quarter, and they lost. So they can't hold a lead. They're not playing well, but then they get the, convenience of playing this team. They're awful. They showed their true side, I thought, on Sunday when they couldn't score. Everyone thought, a lot of people thought that they weren't going to win, that 4.5 total was, under for a lot of Sharks. They didn't think they were going to win games at all. And that was the first time we saw them really look awful and not do anything in a game. So I think San Francisco's lucky that they're playing them. This is an easy game for them, and I think they'll still crush this team. I don't think the Patriots are good, and I think the Niners can get past them. They should have got past the Rams, but they blew it. I mean, they just let Stafford come back and steal that game. They had no business winning that game. And I think a lot of it is because of their injuries. They got so many guys banged up, and, the Rams did too. But nobody made excuses. They just, next man up, everybody did their job, and they somehow pulled it off. That was a horrible loss for them. They have to win this game. I think they'll take it out on the Pats.
But one thing, and I agree with you, I think they'll probably take it out on the Pats too. And I think Purdy's going to play. It sounds like this isn't that serious of a thing, but they've had some really good backup quarterback situations the last few years. They had Sam Darnold last year who was able to slide in when Purdy was hurt. They've had Jimmy G. They've had Purdy before he was a starter. Brandon Allen is the backup this year for Brock Purdy. So precisely. A little bit of not exactly the same realm of backup as they've had there, but I think he's going to go. And if he goes, I think they'll cover the number. That's for sure. Next, we played Pierce yesterday, talking about business decisions, the Raiders, all of these things.
Right.
Now, he said yesterday, Scotty, that they were going to evaluate the quarterback position, maybe make a change. All of the insiders and people who seem to know around the league the past 24 hours have said they are going to stick with Gardner Minshew this week for their game against Cleveland. Here's Pierce, though, saying yesterday he does not regret calling out his team whatsoever, and there still is going to be changes made.
After the game, you talked about the Raiders having to make business decisions. And have you made any of those yet?
No, we haven't. Got to give it to the players first.
Obviously, a lot was made of that comment, national media-wise this morning. I guess as you think about it, are you happy that you pointed it out? And
I don't bite my tongue.
Tough guy. All right.
When it comes to making business decisions on the coaching staff's part, is that something where it's lineup changes? Is it potentially guys?
Just whatever helps the Raiders win. And right now, that performance is not going to help any team win, let alone the Raiders.
Yeah, and they're not winning, and you're coaching them. So it sounds like this week he's blaming Minshew. I don't think he's bad. I don't think that's a bad quarterback. I think they have very limited options offensively. They got Adams, right? And then what else do they have? I mean, they lost their star running back. He went to Green Bay. They have Max Crosby. What else do they have? They're so overrated, it's not even funny. All we ever hear about is the Raiders, and they don't have a ton of talent. So who the hell is he going to throw the ball to? Himself? I'm not blaming him for anything. They have an average offense and an average team. So, Carver High, how stupid would they have to be, the Raiders, to deal Devontae Adams? Seriously. I mean, I saw this hypothetical trade, and I was like, you got to be kidding me.
I think that he's one of the guys that the media and other people immediately started to point at when Pierce did the guys made business decisions thing after the game. They showed some shots of him just kind of looking on the bench, looking really out of it, not into the game. We've talked about this for months. Remember, there was like a 2-month stretch where there was no doubt about it. He was going to the Jets to get hooked up with Rodgers again, his old buddy from Green Bay. Now, I saw this even before you sent it to me, and I thought it was good. Fields needs another target, right? I mean, he's got Pickens already. Why not get Devontae Adams to Pittsburgh for a second and a 5th-round pick? Now, I think that it would take maybe a little bit more than that, maybe not, but they were willing to go after Ayuk, right? I'm sure they'd be willing to go after Devontae Adams.
I don't believe this deal for 1 minute that they're doing that deal. I don't think they're that dumb, and I don't think Pittsburgh could pull that off for that price tag. Honestly, how do you get Devontae Adams to Pittsburgh? That's like the Ayuk deal. It was so bad. They talked about it for 2 months. And I don't believe for 1 minute that it was ever going to happen, because he was using them as leverage to get his deal in San Francisco and stay with the Niners. And we've been hearing about this guy, Adams, that he's unhappy in Vegas. And I think it's mounting. I think it's getting worse because they don't matter. They're not winning. They're losing. Now the finger pointing has started. Now the coach is getting mad at press conferences and snapping at reporters and everything else, and he's ready to give up on his quarterback after 3 weeks. I mean, I could see why he'd want to leave, but I don't think they're stupid. I mean, literally, he's their only option offensively. You give him the ball. I don't know why they don't throw the ball to him 20 times a game. Same that the Giants do with Neighbors. Throw him the ball. If that's your only star player, give him the rock.
And they actually I think they have 2 guys now. Like, I think that Bowers is also a guy you could throw the ball to him every play.
Fair enough.
But for some reason, like, I watched a little bit of that game against Carolina on Sunday. For some reason, they weren't throwing to either of them. Like, they weren't throwing to Adams or Bowers. Like, you actually got kind of like a secondary choice now, even after Adams. So you're right, should get as many targets as Neighbors does with the Giants. But neither of them having big days?
How does that make sense?
It doesn't make any sense.
How does that make sense that you don't throw to those 2 studs? And I mean, Bowers is enormous. He's got great hands. He makes plays, and you don't give him a ball. You don't throw him the ball. And this guy Adams is so great, and he's over there doing Taco Bell commercials because he's not getting the rock. That's why he's not happy.
Those are good commercials. Those are good commercials. The Raiders are home for Cleveland this week, as the Browns, of course, are coming off that loss to the Giants. And this is also bad news for the Browns, Scotty. Myles Garrett, now he got an MRI, came back clean. Remember last week I told you he said both of his feet were bothering him before that Giant game. Now, allegedly, that pain has spread to his lower legs. Like, that doesn't sound very promising at all for Myles Garrett. They are 1.5-point road favorites in Vegas on Sunday. 39,
and they're not winning either.
37.5 the total. So bizarre. The Browns have looked so bad so far this year, and yet here they go. They're road favorites in Vegas on Sunday.
How, last year, they were good. They were winning every week. They had a great defense, great defensive coordinator. Garrett's a badass. Now he's banged up. and they're not winning. And I don't know why they're favored. I guess because the Raiders stink so bad. But if this guy's injured, it's only going to get worse for them. They need him on the field playing football because if he's not playing, they're not winning. It's that simple. He's the key to their defense.
He really is the key to their defense, that's for sure. All right, we're going to come back, and then I'll play Eberflus when we come back. We always like having a laugh with the Bears head coach, Matt Eberflus. And then I've got a lot more injury news for you. I got suspension news. You know, they gave that Derwin James a game, and I had forgotten about that play. You were obviously at the game with Derwin James where he's wondering why they do that. You can't keep smashing people in the head, and now they're just going to make the penalties more and more for this guy.
I mean, honestly, what are you doing, bro? And it costs your team. They can't afford to lose him. He's a great player, but he's lost his mind, and I think he deserved what he got, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So not a good start through 3 weeks, but don't worry, Scotty. I mean, Matt Eberflus, he's built up tons of credit with the Chicago faithful with all the winning he's done over the years. Everybody just don't worry about it. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, I would say that, Mark. I would say that, look, this is our third game, and there was some positivity to take out of this, and we're encouraged. We're encouraged in that locker room. We are encouraged, and we are.
Sure you are.
Have our head moving forward, eyes moving forward, and we're going to get better this week. And to me, there is better production, on the offensive side. There was better production there in terms of who we got the ball to. And the efficiency just needs to be better in certain areas, on offense, on defense, and in kicking game. And it starts with the football.
Really, this guy, honestly, I just don't think he's a good coach. You've said it before. They have, I heard, they wrap talent all around for Caleb Williams. They got all these players now that can make plays. Well, where are all those plays happening? You don't see them. They just don't matter as usual. And at some point, they're going to get sick of Eberflus, and he's going to be out of there. He's got to turn it around because I feel like he's on a hot seat already. They projected him Coach of the Year, Super Bowl. People were, buying the Bears tickets and buying that hype, and Caleb Williams and all this other stuff. Like we said earlier, Jaden Daniels is better. He's playing better. He is better, and he should have been maybe the number one. Remember, they said that Caleb Williams was, just so amazing. He's going to change the franchise. He's that generational player. He can't be stopped. He's automatic. And meanwhile, the other guy, Daniels, is the one that looks automatic, and he's exciting to watch play. I think Caleb Williams makes too many mistakes. I mean, left and right, every week, you can count on him to make mistakes, and that's why the Bears never win.
Yeah, it's why the Bears never win, but they also never win because they're the Bears, and they just continuously are an awful franchise. They should have never brought this guy back to start this year. They were getting a clean slate. Number 1 overall pick, new quarterback, could have attached a coach. They should have been in the Harbaugh sweepstakes before he went to L.A. They should have did whatever they could to get somebody to stabilize that franchise. Instead, they have this joker who should have been fired after last year. He's done a bad job since he's been there. And now they're going to have to start over again when they fire him after this year, when they go 6-11 or whatever it is, 5-12, whatever they're going to go this year with a rookie quarterback. You could put the pieces around him, Scotty, but as we've seen with too many of these guys, coaching matters, philosophies matter, systems matter, and they don't have one. They just don't.
Listen,
there with that guy. Don't be discouraged.
The team they're playing, the Rams, we saw what they did against the Niners. They can beat the Bears if they just play their game. And let's face facts, Stafford's better than Caleb Williams, 6 ways till Sunday. I mean, he's automatically better from the jump when the game starts. I like the Rams over the Bears. I mean, I guess they got the game at Soldier Field, so they got something going for them. But I don't really like the Bears at all.
Bears are 2.5-point favorites here on a Tuesday. Bears are favored by 2.5.
How is that
with
possible?
a 40.5 total? Like you said, I guess because the game's there, and yes, the Rams are beat up. But you saw last week the difference in these two teams. The Rams are beat up. They got nobody there. But what do they have? They have a great coach and a great quarterback who can take guys off the street and keep them competitive and keep them in a game and sometimes even win them. I would take that coach and quarterback any day of the week over the one that they're going to play this week. I'm with you. It's Rams.
They were winning without their star receivers. They didn't have anything going. They had all, patchwork, backups, no names, and they got it done against the Niners. Now, I know they had a lot of injuries, but that really was incredible, that comeback, to do that with no names and not their star guys. You lose, Cup and Puka Shells and all the problems they had in their back end and up front in the trenches. To win that game was insane. They're flat out better than the Bears. Now, stranger things have happened, and the Bears could win the game. I don't see it, though. I think Stafford will give them problems.
More news for you here for Baltimore now. Free agent pass rusher Yannick Ngakoue returns to Baltimore. I feel like that guy's been everywhere the last 3 years, but this is his second tour in Baltimore with the Ravens as they need some pass rush help. Harbaugh yesterday also acknowledged that Justin Tucker's been struggling so far. It feels like he's the only kicker in the NFL in structure. What happened to this league, Scotty? It used to be Tucker was the only guy that could make long kicks, and now everyone makes long kicks except Tucker. I don't know what happened.
It's a bizarro I didn't notice that he was having problems. I didn't notice that he had lost it suddenly and was struggling. I don't like the Ravens, so I don't sit around watching them and, getting invested in Tucker's leg. I always thought he was awesome. And so what? This is the first year he's starting to struggle? It is what it is. I mean, sometimes kickers hit a wall or get the yips or whatever it is, and they start missing, and that's that. So you've seen it before. You'll see it again. Guys miss kicks, and he never did. And now all of a sudden he is struggling. That's crazy.
Amazing. I did want to give you the numbers now that I have them. Ravens Sunday night against the Bills, -1.5 and 46.5. So a short number here with the Bills being 3-0 off of an impressive Monday night performance and the Ravens getting their first win of the season. Pretty big total, too. I'll tell you early in the week, I think it's a tough spot for the Bills to go in there on Sunday night. They've gotten 3 wins. They're riding pretty high. But Baltimore, very good team as well. Now, the Bills have played them well since Lamar's been there, but I lean to Baltimore, Scotty, in that game on Sunday night.
Yeah, I feel like I said before that now that they've won, I think they're going to start playing better and rattling off wins. I think that Lamar, found his groove. He started looking great, throwing it, running it, getting their offense going. They look fantastic for the most part against Dallas. You're up, 28-6. They had it all going. So I think they're kind of turning the corner, and I think they're going to be hard to beat in the Charm City. But look, I'm not doubting this Bills team. They're really good. The way they spread it out and get everyone involved, they can win that game. They can win anywhere. They can win in the Belo. They can win on the road. I think you have to start looking at them, potentially outright to win games like this. I don't think they have a fear in playing the Ravens. The Ravens have, frankly, looked good once. That's it. The Bills have looked good every single game, and they've gotten better every single game. They just keep getting better. Their offense keeps getting in more of a groove. So I think they're going to give Baltimore problems. I think most people will probably bet the Ravens, but maybe the play is Buffalo.
Let me give you a little injury roundup here to close out this segment. Chargers rookie offensive lineman Joe Alt, MCL sprain, so not good news for him, but not obviously long-term. Dolphins quarterback Skylar Thompson considered day-to-day with a chest injury. McDaniel did say today it's possible that Tyler Huntley would start Monday night against the Titans. I'll give Mike a piece of advice, Scotty, now here on Coast to Coast. I would get Tyler Huntley ready to start Monday night anyway, whether Skylar Thompson's hurt or not. I would get Huntley ready to start on Monday night because that dude stinks. So I would put Huntley in when the Titans come to town. Because Huntley could beat the Titans on Monday night. Huntley could win that game for them against Tennessee on Monday night. So I would go with him. So decent. Mike should get himself in order.
He can definitely win games. I think that guy's flat out one of the better backups. What he did in Baltimore, and, we've seen him play, and he can play flat out. So, and you watch this Skylar guy, and he's awful. I don't care what anyone says. And we've never seen Huntley play that badly. When he gets in, he gives it everything, and he goes for it, and he's pretty decent.